All right, listen up because a seriously cool celestial event is coming your way. And this is your 5-minute guide to not missing a single second of it.
Okay, get ready to set your alarms. We're talking about Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, specifically the wee hours of the morning, because something absolutely incredible is about to go down in the skies right over Stockton. I mean, you can't say it any better than that, right? The moon is gonna get yeeted. And what that means for us is a full-on, absolutely total lunar eclipse. No half measures here.
Okay, so a total lunar eclipse. What does that actually mean? Let's get into it. What is really happening up there in the sky?
It really comes down to one thing: perfect alignment. See, this can only happen during a full moon. You need the sun, the earth, and the moon to line up perfectly, just like cosmic bowling pins. And when they do, our planet Earth throws its darkest shadow, it's called the umbra, right onto the moon. And here's what that looks like. You've got the sun, then the Earth gets right in the middle, and then the moon. Earth basically photobombs the sun. And that perfect shadow it creates, the moon is going to sail right through it. Okay, but here's the thing that always gets me. If the moon is literally in our shadow, shouldn't it just disappear? Go totally black? So why does it turn that amazing coppery red color? Honestly, the answer is kind of poetic. Think of Earth's atmosphere as this giant dusty lens. It filters out all the bluer, cooler light, but it lets the red and orange light bend right around the planet's edge, and, well, it projects that light onto the moon. So get this, what you're seeing is literally every single sunrise and sunset happening on Earth at that exact moment, all projected onto the face of the moon. How cool is that? All right, that's the science. Now let's talk about you. If you're in or around Stockton, here is your game plan: the when, the where, and the how to see this thing for yourself. First things first, yeah, you're gonna have to set an alarm. This is a pre-dawn show. You'll see the first little dark bite get taken out of the moon around 1:50 a.m., but the main event, the part you really don't want to miss, that's totality. That's when the moon is fully red, and that window is from 3:04 a.m. to 4:02 a.m. Look, if you can only drag yourself out of bed for one single moment, make it this one. 3:33 a.m. That is the peak, the maximum eclipse. That's when the moon is going to be its deepest, richest red and look just absolutely spectacular. So where do you look? You're going to look towards the west-southwest. Now the moon will be about 35 degrees up. What does that mean? Just hold your fist out at arm's length. It's about 3.5 fists up from the horizon. The key is to find a spot with a nice clear view. Think parks, open parking lots, anywhere you can get away from tall trees and buildings blocking your shot. And hey, super important point here. Unlike a solar eclipse, you do not need any special glasses for this. It is 100% safe to just look up at a lunar eclipse with your own eyes. So just enjoy it. That said, if you have a pair of binoculars, oh man, you gotta bring them. The view is going to be incredible. Thinking about snapping a picture? Okay, here's the deal. An eclipsed moon is literally thousands of times dimmer than a normal full moon. Your phone's automatic setting is probably going to struggle. The number one tip? Use a tripod. It's an absolute game changer. It'll keep your phone or camera steady for that longer exposure you're going to need to really capture that awesome red color. Okay, so what's the big deal about this particular eclipse? Why is it special? Let's get into some of the insider details that really make this one stand out. First off, it has the coolest name. It's a total warm blood moon. So the warm moon part, that's just the traditional name for a March full moon, when the ground thaws and the earthworms come out. And blood moon is what people call a lunar eclipse when it turns red. You put them together, and bam, total warm blood moon. Epic. The way the moon is traveling through Earth's shadow is also pretty neat. It's definitely going all the way into the darkest part of the shadow, so it's a true total eclipse. But it's not cutting right through the dead center. It's a little off to the side. So what that might mean for us is we could see this really cool gradient effect, where one side of the moon looks a little bit brighter than the other, kind of like a gradient core vibe. And look, if you're on the fence thinking, I'll catch the next one, you might want to reconsider. See this number, 1034? That is how many days you will have to wait for the next total lunar eclipse you can see from here. We're talking New Year's Eve of 2028. So yeah, you don't want to miss this. Something this dramatic in the sky, it's no surprise that people have been telling stories about it for thousands of years. Let's dive into some of the ways ancient cultures tried to make sense of the moon suddenly turning red and disappearing. And what's fascinating is that a lot of cultures landed on a similar idea. Something was eating the moon. For the Inca, it was a celestial jaguar attacking it. In Hindu traditions, it was the demon Rahu, literally swallowing it. And in Chinese myth, a giant dragon was devouring the moon.
So what did they do? Well, they made a ton of noise. They'd bang pots, they'd shout, anything to try and scare that celestial creature away and bring the moon back. It's such a wild contrast to today, right? We don't gather in fear anymore. We gather together to just watch in awe and scientific wonder.
All right, let's bring it all home. We've got the science, we've got the plan, we've even got the ancient history. Let's do a final vibe check on why you absolutely need to set that alarm.
Okay, let's be real for a second. It's early March in Stockton. Historically, yeah, there's a decent chance of clouds. So you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on the forecast as we get closer. Let's all just cross our fingers for a nice, clear night. But just picture it. You're out there in the quiet of the pre-dawn, the whole city is asleep, and you're watching the moon turn red. This is not your average Tuesday morning, okay? This is a moment where you really connect with the universe. You know what that is? That is pure main character energy. So I'll leave you with this question. At 3:33 a.m. on March 3rd, 2026, when our planet's shadow is painting the moon that deep coppery red over sleeping Stockton, where are you gonna be?